Hi everyone, so please call me Dave. I have been in Korea. I moved to Korea on March 1st, which makes today exactly 7 weeks I've been here. During which time I've read one book and seen 2 new movies, and none of them were particularly memorable. So I'm not going to review any of that. I have been to about, during that same period, 15 Toastmasters sessions, so I thought I'd give a review of Toastmasters itself. Now, as with Toastmaster evaluations, I understand they follow they call it the praise, critique, praise sandwich, so let's follow that format. Starting off with the praise, one of the great things I found about Toastmasters, what drew me in initially when my friend Cliff, who's not here today, was telling me about it, is the diversity of people you get here. You have, a mixture of foreigners, Kyokbos, native Koreans, you have English teachers, you have professionals and students, you have men and women in roughly equal quantity. Where do you find that? And I find that this diversity and balance, it's not an accident, it's something that's intrinsic in the way Toastmasters is structured. In particular, it's extremely egalitarian. You take what's the most prominent, highest role, usually the president or the chair. The chair only speaks for the first 5 and last 5 minutes. The rest is the Toastmaster, who is a rotating position, and the Toastmaster in turn hands off a lot of the work to the individual functionals, such as the timer, grammarian, etc. So this distribution promotes everyone to assume a certain level of leadership and engagement, and it's because it's so distributed that makes it a very high degree of diversity and egalitarianism that brings people more engaged as opposed to just listening and, I'm going to hear another speech. No, you're in it, you're involved, and that's one of the key strengths of Toastmasters. Now, onto the critique. There are some things that can be improved. One of the things especially I find is not only are people giving speeches, but there's the feedback process. Now there's 2 facets of this. One, when a speech is given and you give the evaluation, the evaluator only has one pass of listening to a speech that's, 5 to 7 minutes long, and they have to come up with feedback right on the spot. They get maybe 10, 12 minutes to think of something, and they're on the spot to give a speech of their own. So it's a lot of pressure, and only one person's doing it. I think the more feedback you get, the stronger the process will be. So my first recommendation would be, after each speech is given, record it. Next day, put it on YouTube, Facebook, share it, and get feedback from everyone. One evaluator is one head. We got a whole room full of people who can listen, think, oh, you know what, at 53 seconds in, you might want to change that one phrasing. That kind of feedback can be much more valuable from many minds, many perspectives. The other area of the feedback process that can be improved, I find, is the concept of the ah counter. Not to diss you on, but the ah counter is the only negatively defined role. You're saying nah, you're striking things out. And look at the mission statement on your agenda at the bottom. We're a positive environment. Looking at you shouldn't do ahs, you shouldn't say ums, that's a negative definition of your role. What I think would be more constructive would be to rethink that role in terms of where is an opportunity for silence. Instead of saying, because if you're focusing on and you say then you look behind you and you're suddenly, your head is spinning. Who's seen the movie Inception? Inception. You know what he says? Don't think of a purple elephant. What are you thinking of?
A green elephant.
Yeah. If you say, don't think of and you say, oh no, now it's stuck in your head. You need something positive. You think, instead of saying, don't say say, here's a good moment to put in silence. And it's not merely substituting one thing for another. Silence itself can be very powerful. In fact, rhetorically, given how simple it is, there are few rhetorical devices that can be more compelling in a speech than a well-chosen moment of, did you feel yourselves drawing in? That's exactly how you engage people. Silence, people want to fill in that gap. It's like when you're at a dinner table and there's a loud conversation going on in the background because you're at a restaurant and you're leaning and straining to catch every last word. that's what power silence can be. And that brings me back to the last point, the praise again, which is the icha. When everyone is here together and you're in this structured environment, that's well and good, but going to icha and everyone is now conversing, they're sharing ideas, and you're setting a natural conversational environment. You build up a conversational skills. That's what makes you a better speaker. You don't learn to be a public speaker by doing public speaking. You learn to be a good public speaker by being a good conversationalist. And you carry that up on a stage. So icha is an inherent important part. It's not just a nice add-on for social and fun times, although it's definitely that too. I think it's an intrinsic part of the Toastmaster experience. And so those three elements, the formal meeting with its structured egalitarianism, the feedback process which can be refined, but it's an important element, and finally icha, which is often overlooked and underrated. I think that combines to make a Toastmaster experience. Thank you.